Hi, my name is Matthew and welcome to Matthewland. We've got some updates for you in the Trump documents case down in Florida. Now, just as a refresher, he was arraigned on a total of 37 charges. He's got one charge each of conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or a record, corruptly concealing a document or a record, concealing a document in a federal investigation, scheme to conceal, false statements and representations. Now, his bodyman Walt Nauta was also arraigned on that one. And there are 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information. A good thing for Trump is Judge Aileen Cannon was assigned to be the judge on this case. The reason that's a good thing was she was also the judge in the Mar-a-Lago investigation. She made a lot of rulings that were in Trump's favors. The Democrats are actually really upset that she's the judge on this. But hopefully she'll make some more fair rulings on this that the Democrats will be okay with, but time will tell. We're hoping, personally, I hope that it's just impartial. She makes fair rulings, good for the Trump team and good for the FBI and justice and just good in general, impartial, like the justice system should be. That's the way everything should be. If he's acquitted, then he's acquitted. If he's found guilty, then I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, who you are. If he's guilty, he's guilty. There's a lot of evidence if you read the indictment against him. I've got my own opinion, but as Jack Smith said, read the indictment. I think you'll definitely have your own opinion. Now, there was also a magistrate judge who was appointed during the Donald Trump presidency who made a ruling on this as well. He said that Trump can only view any of the evidence under the presence of his attorneys. This is no different than during the Eugene Carroll case and during the other and under the other indictment that he's going through in New York. And this is because they just don't trust him. They don't trust that he's going to disclose any of this information during speeches or with this case, because there's a lot of classified information. They're worried that he's going to disclose it to people that just aren't supposed to know, and possibly during some of his speeches. Now, he's been saying, one of his biggest claims on this is he's saying that he's allowed to say all this because of the Presidential Records Act. Now, this really, personally, this confuses me. It's almost like, let's say you murder somebody, and you say that, oh, but 18 USC 51, I'm allowed to do that. 18 USC 51 is actually the law that says you're not allowed to murder people. Now, the Presidential Records Act was actually enacted right after Nixon in the Watergate era because they wanted to make sure that presidents and former presidents don't take any information that they're not allowed to take with them. Because at 11:59 on January 20th, you are president. As soon as a new president is sworn in, you are a United States citizen. You're no longer president. You lose all of your security clearance. You're nothing anymore. Well, you're not anything. You're a United States citizen, just like I am. Me, I used to, at one point in time, because of a former job that I had a security clearance. I left that job. As soon as I left that job, I also left behind my security clearance. I still cannot discuss things that were classified or at the secret level, all the way up to the secret level, which was where my security clearance was. I'm not going to tell you just in case you ask. I can't talk about it. I lost my security clearance. It's done. It's over and done with. The second I left that job. The second Donald Trump became a normal citizen, he left behind his security clearance. The Presidential Records Act says you lose your security clearance, and all of the records that you have and that you were cleared to have, you no longer are cleared to have anymore. At 12:01 on January 20th, as soon as a new president is sworn in, you lose your security clearance and the new president has it. That's it. It's over and done with. There are other concerns that this magistrate judge has, which there's also part of the reason that he made these rulings. He actually, one ruling that, well, it wasn't a ruling, it was a reminder that he gave Trump, is he's not allowed to talk to any of the witnesses that he knows about when any of the disclosures are made. This is pretty standard. This is very standard. It's called witness tampering. You're allowed to know who the witnesses are and the information that they said, but you're not allowed to discuss the case with them. You're not allowed, that's because you are not allowed to attempt to sway them one way or the other. They said what they said, and that's what if they're called to testify, they're supposed to testify the same exact way that they testified in a grand jury, the same information that they said when they were talking to the investigator. Now, there are some semi-valid concerns that the Trump attorneys and other attorneys have had during criminal cases like this, where there is classified information. It's called CIPA. What that is because there's classified information, not all of it is necessarily given to the defense. Some of the information has been changed. Some names and some locations that are classified at certain levels have been changed that they're just not going to know about. And it's been claimed that this can give the prosecutors a little bit more of a roadmap than it's going to give the defense. So that is somewhat of a defense that the Trump team may have, but it's not always something that works. We'll see what happens in this case. It's still not necessarily a slam dunk for the prosecution, but if you read the indictment, which I recommend you do, there's also, if you go on to some podcasts, you can also listen to people just speaking it. You can listen to it being read. If you don't want to read it yourself, I highly recommend you do that. It's pretty interesting, and there's a lot of information that you may not be aware of. So it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. I recommend it. If you have the means, if you have the time. I mean, it is a lot of pages. It is pretty long. If you've got an hour, I recommend it. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. If you like any of this information, I'll definitely keep you updated. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, my name is Matthew. This has been Matthew Land. I'll see you next time.